Welcome to Soooo Guided, a spiritual travel guide for the curious.
Join us as we dive into the mystical, high-vibe ways we can connect to the universe and ourselves. We are trying anything and everything woo-woo. Whatever the result, mind-blowing, unbelievable, or hilarious, we promise to share in truth.
Ready to explore? Suspend disbelief and let's discover the mysterious together.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Soooo Guided. Today's episode's a little different. I took my daughter to visit a shaman and turned out I got the biggest woo-woo I've ever experienced. And Jenny had a big one too. So we're sharing that in a little different format. If you've never listened before, you might want to go back a few episodes and get a little read on us because this may be a little bit much for your first time. But if you've been with us since the beginning, you're going to appreciate this woo-woo. It really goes above and beyond. It reminds us that we're all magic. You've got questions? So do we. Let's do this.
Hey, it's Carissa.
Hello, it's Jenny.
We are very happy to be together today because it's been a long time, several weeks, I feel like. We've been dealing with end of summer stuff, and we're actually just going to catch up today. We both have a pretty good woo story. We figured instead of making the longest woo-woo of the week ever, we would just tell you guys the story, tell each other the story. So we're both going to be hearing it for the first time. But as we're going to jump into that and see where this convo takes us.
Totally. Well, hi, I missed you.
I missed you too.
It's a weird friend thing to do. I don't think most people do that is, hi, I've missed you. I can't wait to hear your important story. But let's wait till we hit the record button.
It's the craziest woo-woo just happened. Right. That was now 2.5 weeks ago.
That's right.
So it's been a while, but it's... no, it is funny.
We are long overdue to catch up. So that's why we decided, let's just make this a chit-chat woo.
Yeah.
So I'll start because I think yours is our story of the day that we'll dig into. Yeah. I hope more. But mine is super fun. And I think I've even mentioned it on the podcast. Since I've moved back home, I've really reconnected with my home, its energy, the land here. And partially from the house clearing we did, and that was episode 1 of the season, was that I was told that there's angels of my land and that there are people that watch over us. And that was very palpable when she walked through. And it was very loving.
Oh, yeah. We did the house cleansing. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in that spirit, every once in a while when I meditate, I've checked in, like, kind of, dear angels of the land, thank you for watching over my family. And about January or February, I think it was, I was meditating and probably something I read led me to, like, talking to plants. I've posted about it.
We've been talking about talking
plant stuff.
Yeah.
And it's plant stuff I want to get into. But one of the things that keeps coming across my feed and in my life is that trees are sentient. And there's an energy force behind them. And grass, by the way, and flowers. And it's probably one of the subjects I'm most intrigued by, but harder to process and understand intellectually. So learning now so many things about plants, that they have energy and they're almost crystal-like in what they provide for us. I posted it on Instagram, mild research I started. I'm getting back into it more. In any case, I was really having plant vibes. So at the moment, my energy kind of went towards, there's only one giant oak tree on my property, and it looks like it's got to be, 600 years old.
It's huge.
It's stories high. It's beautiful, and it has a presence. It's the only one in my yard, so I see it from a lot of rooms in my house. It looks over my meditation space, and it's just something I love very much. So in a particular meditation, I was saying, angels of the land and our caretakers that watch over us, and tree. And the thing I had read, it said, ask a plant to name itself. I said, what is your name? And holy crap, this is not in my voice. It is not my ego. It almost sounds like a different sound in my head. Charles. And I was like, wait, Charles?
Charles?
I thought it was good. Like a tree would say a woman's name.
I was going to say, didn't you think it was a female? I was picturing it to be a girl.
So I was like,
or a girl
life
name.
Mama,
guy, like exactly.
Feminine energy of a tree. Exactly. And I giggled, and I remember thinking, I even repeated back a different Henry. No, Charles. And it was just clear as day. It was one of those moments that the download wasn't in my voice. It was so clear. It was surrounded in complete clarity. Charles. So I told my family about it. And I think we had a Sunday dinner with my family. So I had even told my parents this story. They love our woos. Yeah. So I was like, listen to this. I heard the name of our, the caretaker of our land, our big old tree is Charles. And so it's a joke. We'll like literally be like, oh, look, Charles has his leaves. Like when the spring came and leaves came back, and enough that like my dad's gardening out there today.
No,
he said, I'm updating Charles. He's like pulling off his roots.
I was coming into your house and your dad was gardening. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so hot in the sun. I can't believe you're doing this. He's like, nope, Charles has my back. He's protecting me. I'm in the shade the whole day. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, I knew exactly what he was talking about, but that's so funny. Your dad was like, no, Charles has me.
It's like,
I'm like,
so it's literally,
that literally just happened. I didn't even know where this was going.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
No, and this is like family joke, just like in your house, feathers mean something, right? So Charles, so everyone knows Charles. Fast forward to like 2 weeks ago, and my home's about to be in a historical home tour. And the woman who is the kind of investigative writer of my house went through the records of my house and the background and the history. So she asked me to read it and see if I had anything to add and had a question about my renovation. So I'm reading it, and I literally fell off my chair. Do you know who owned my land before the house was on it? Charles Pratt owned the land.
Before even the house?
Before the house. And then when Charles Pratt passed away,
oh my God,
his son inherited the land, and his son is who built this home. And his son's name is also Charles.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Oh my God. Talk about the evidence.
Evidence. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's so crazy.
And he like still watches over the land.
He still watches over the land.
Do you know when that was? Like what year that is? Is that like?
Yes. So when he owned the land, it was in 1890.
Wow.
After around that time, it might have been a little bit earlier, he passes away, and then the land is inherited by his son, and this house starts being built in like 1902.
Wow.
Finished in 1904.
Wow.
So we're like, the turn of that century. Wild though.
That is.
And what I love is like, this name was so clear. It was so clear. In fact, as we told the story, the first like month we were kind of like joking about it in my house. Like Brian, I think even said, oh, Fred. I'm like, it's not Fred, it's Charles. Like I haven't knee-jerked to like protect it's Charles. And now here's the important identifier. Do I think Charles is in that tree? No, I don't. What I almost feel like is an energy of the watchers of our land is imbued in maybe also the grass we're looking at out front and the tree. And, there's something less categorical about being the tree, and that Charles is watching over this beautiful land.
I like that. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's not like Charles is the tree. No. Like it's like now in the tree. Yes, yes. Or even like the tree, if the tree was choosing a name, he chose a name like an ode to the person that like created the land. Who he obviously must have shown him love and care for this land for the past 100 years, who like settled this land and invited like humans and these nice spirits to be here. Because like you have always said that like you felt a very like calm, like happy energy in this house. Like the lady who went through and did a cleansing said the same. Said the same thing. So I feel like the tree would give an ode to him, for bringing in like the right families into this home.
Totally.
Well, like, oh wow,
that was a good one. Juicy.
That is juicy. And like what we talk about is like we always say like our ego, is it us? Are we making this up? Are we making this up? It's such a good one because you not only heard it in a different voice, which is like a real thing, but like you wouldn't ever pick Charles for the tree. Like if you're gonna pick it, it would have been a girl's name or a more feminine name, like you said. So I feel like that's so out of character. It's such a good one.
The other like back end of that's like awesome side effect is we question our own gifts a lot. And I feel like I get downloads all the time, but when we're not in a place of spiritual practice or seeing each other where I'm like living my life with these values and these thoughts, I question my downloads. And so for me, like it was insanely validating, like, wait, you are fully getting downloads. Right. Do listen. Keep your ears open, like listen. And I think one of my other takeaways was when I meditate, do trust what I hear.
Right.
That's my woo. And I'm glad that we're doing an episode only for our woo stories because it's a long one. But
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Enough. I need to hear about your journey.
So mine is actually an experience, and woven into the experience is a wild, wild woo.
Okay.
So you said I mentioned this on the podcast. I actually don't remember, but I know I've mentioned it to you. So I'll just share with everybody in case they haven't been aware. I had this like weird, like remembering of this weird feeling like a couple months ago where when I was pregnant, I basically was with the twins, not with Van, with the twins. I was at like a Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm just gonna say where I was. I was at a Bed Bath & Beyond, and I was there, and I was like 8 months pregnant, and I was like grumpy, and I was not in a spiritual state of mind, and I was just like annoyed, and I was having like a bad day. And I was checking out, and it was super slow and super annoying, and I was getting so frustrated, and the cashier person was like super annoying. Like full transparency, I don't think I was being like kind or patient.
You weren't your best version.
I wasn't my best version myself. I was a very pregnant, very like moody, like Scorpio, being like, what the F is taking so long? Freaking check me out. And I remember like she was rude right back. Like, I don't remember exactly the thing, but I remember when I was there, she was basically like, she like spoke a different language at me and was like said something to me. And I got like the worst feeling. And I was just like, oh my God, I just felt her negativity being pushed on me. And even then, when I'm not like, I wasn't doing a podcast, I wasn't in full spiritual. I'm still a spiritual person. I've always felt intuitive, and I feel energy. Yeah. And so I remember even like leaving there and being like, oh my God, to my husband, like, oh my God, this woman, I feel like she like put a spell on me, or like she just like cursed me, like something so bad. And I remember like even at that point, like praying or like trying to like cleanse myself, but I never forgot it. It was so weird. Like I was so nervous that she had done something bad. And again, I was like 8 months pregnant, that like when I had like the babies and like, one was in the NICU and whatever, like I didn't think like that was her. But what I did think was like, oh my God, I had the babies, they're healthy, they're here, like I am okay. Like I actually thought like, okay, like I can feel better, because I thought something was gonna happen to my, like it was bad. Like I was afraid of something bad happening to them. And then like I had them and they were okay, but it never like left my mind. I'd never forgotten about it. And as the kids have gotten older, and just like as life takes over, I've like thought about that. And as I've gotten more and more spiritual, and we've talked about spells and we've talked about positive energy and negative energy, it's just like kind of like come back in my mind at different points. And, as like we do this, like I don't take like my kids to church, even though I went to church, like, and I like want to instill belief in them. I want to instill spirituality, and I do kind of feel guilty in not doing that. But like we're not the super religious like family in that capacity. And so I'm always just trying to like, I don't know, bring my kids into a belief system. And so through that, obviously with what we do, like I'm trying at all times to like incorporate my kids into things, like incorporate into prayers, into belief, and doing different things. And with my daughter, like I want to experience some of these like spiritual activities that we do together. And at the same time, I was like, this spell has been in the back of my mind. So I was like, I wonder if they need like a clearing, or like my daughter needs a clearing. So I actually reached out to the woman that one, like our most favorite, our most beloved, like our most like respected, like practitioner. I had reached out to her. I think you guys may have heard us like mention her in a past episode about a shaman. She's unbelievably amazing. And so I had actually shared with her my concern about like potentially like if I just want to make sure there's a clearing, if my like starting with just my daughter, because it's like easier to go on a girl's night away with my daughter than my son. And so I'm like, I want to come see you, and I want to bring my daughter, and like, would you be open to working with a child? And it's not typical. I mean, my daughter's only 12, and she was kind of like, she had done some thinking on it, and she had done like some like of her own like visioning and meditating. And one of the things that I was kind of happy to hear right off the bat was like that she didn't see any sort of spells. Yes. So she was like, I don't think there's anything. She's like, if you're doing it for that, you don't need to. Do you know what I'm saying? She's like, I don't see anything like that. And I was like, okay, well, great to hear. But I'm like, I would still love to have this experience with her if you're open to it. And so it was literally like booked for like 2.5 months. And then we finally got to do it like 2 weeks ago. So me and Fiona went, it was in like the Berkshires, and we traveled and we stayed overnight. We did some back to school shopping, and we ended up going to this unbelievable experience. And we didn't know like really what it was going to entail, because like we kind of set it up as I just want to have like kind of like an experience, a cleansing, like a journey for my daughter, something, as she's like getting older. And so Fiona is like such a trooper, because she's like, she's a believer and she believes that she's an empath for sure. But I think she signed up more for this because I was going to there's outlets out there and we're going to do back to school shopping. So she was like, okay, and when are we going to the outlets? And are we going to have time to get our nails done? Like, so this like part of it was like my, like,
This
I
is
can't
your part.
wait.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this is going to be so cool. You know, this is going to be the best, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, I know, but we're going to have time to do nails and outlet shopping and there's other shops. Like, so she had definitely a different, like, she agreed to it. She wasn't as excited about that element of the girls' trip. So we got there and first of all, it was supposed to be during the day. And like during like 2:00 or something. And she ended up like texting us and being like, hey, it's really warm where we're going to do it. Do you want to do it in the evening instead? So we're like, okay, sure. And she tells us like where to go. And she has this like beautiful piece of land. At first we thought she was going to come to our hotel because she doesn't have like her own space. But she actually opened up, it was like a tent, but a tent that's like an all seasons tent.
Okay.
It was like, she called it like only for females. And it was like on her property. And first of all, when we got there, it was...
What does it look like? Where are you?
It's beautiful.
Bring me there.
It's beautiful. There's a definitely grounded vibe. There's mountains in the background. But where we are, we had to park in like a barn area, walk down a street, and then walk down this whole like embankment because there's no like parking or driveway or road to like where we're headed. And so we walked down like
that
basically...
sounds metaphorical.
It was beautiful. It was like, right, it was metaphorical. Like you walk down like a path and it was like, there's a waterfall to your left. And there are just the most greens and most like foliage and just like the greenest amount of trees you've ever seen in just like flowing water. And, you know, she greeted us and she was there and she offered us tea and we were like talking a little bit. It was just like you felt like you were in a magical place. And like and like we've talked about like fairy energy and we've talked about like if we believe in that or like what that is. And I don't know how to describe this, but to say there was different energy there. Like it was like a portal of some sort. It had like fairy energy. I don't even know what that is, but I know that's what it was.
I totally
You know what
get
I'm
it.
saying? Like it was so magical. You could like feel the water, like the trees were ridiculous. And when you were telling your story about the trees, like there was just so much like magic there. And again, she is like such a special like lady. And one of her many, many talents is that she can commune with plants.
That's right.
And so, and I've always found that so fascinating. And so kind of like a pivot a little bit from my story, just to go back to what you were saying. One of like the questions I had asked her at the end of the session, but just came to me was, you can like talk to plants and stuff. I'm like, you must have talked to a lot here. And she's like, oh my God, I do. She's like, I hear so many of them. And I'm like, how do you do it? Like, I don't get it. And she basically looks at me, basically said, in not these exact words, but like, don't be so literal. You touch, you ask a question in your head, like you can feel their leaves, you can just look at them and like feel the rest of the stick and whatever you feel in your body. She's like, do you feel like all of a sudden like light and happy and you want to go for a run? Do you feel like warmth in your knee? Maybe they can help heal a knee issue. Like she's like, you feel in your body, like they will give you a feeling in your body. She's like, and that's how it starts. She's like, you just sit with them and just focus on like whatever you're doing. And she's like, and then like listen to your internal like feelings. Basically what I got from her is stop thinking they're gonna be like, hey Carissa, how you doing?
Right.
Because I think that's like what I'm like, how do people do it? It's so weird. And she's like, no, stop doing it like that. So again, so that was like funny because when you're talking about your tree stuff, it's so really hard to like to wrap my head around it. It's one of those things that I want to be able to do it. Totally. And it's like, I'm like, but how do you do it? So we're in this extremely magical environment. Like it is just so much green, so lush, water flowing, and it's like dusk, so there's a lot of bugs. But there is like this tent, it's like yurt, and we go inside after she gives us some tea, and she's like asking like kind of Fiona like how she is and like what she wants to like get out of the experience. And Fiona's kind of like looking at me. Fiona was not doing,
I don't know.
Fiona wasn't doing a lot of open talking. And she, but she was like, I mean, she was being pleasant and cute and whatever, but she was like nervous and didn't know what to expect and what to say. She just kind of took the lead, which I appreciated. And she led us inside the tent. We could zip it up and there was like, no more bugs. It's beautiful. And she has like a shrine. She has all of these like pretty like things and things you can tell are special to her. And just, it's just a super like laid back, beautiful communal environment. And there's like crowns hanging. She had just made that. She does a lot of different like sessions with like ladies and like creates in there. And so she asked us, she was like, you know what I'm going to do? She's like, I'd like to access like plants and our plants essence. I'm going to use like a certain deck of cards that I have. And she's like, they're all like focused around plants. And it was cool because like these decks were in like almost like old English. Like they looked so old and like so like different than any like deck of like.
So they felt magic. Like you're in a movie now.
They felt
you're in a portal, in a magic fairy tree portal.
Very magic. And so it was cool because she like had Fiona pick like 3 different cards. And she was asking Fiona like several questions at first. You know, you could tell she was kind of like not leading the witness, but she was just like, you could tell like she was already like reading Fiona, and she was like, no, she's like, do you feel energy? She's like, are you like an empath? And Fiona's kind of like, yeah. She's like, I can tell. She's like, sometimes other people's energy can feel like your own energy. And she's like, and that's what we need to like stop. You know, she's like, we want to be able to block like that. And she's like, have you gotten your moon cycle yet? And you know, like a moon cycle, I love that. And you know, Fiona's like, no, not yet. And I'm like, I know, but I think it's coming soon. And she's like, okay. She's like, when your moon cycle comes, she's like, that's something that's going to be happening, like with not only your body, but like your evolution and your soul.
And just to clarify, like, moon cycle is her getting her period.
Yeah, right. Which I thought was funny. The moon cycle. But I was like, oh, I love that.
I'm using that.
I'm like, for the rest of my life, I'm calling it a moon cycle. So she was talking about that, and then she was like, she basically went through her chakras, and she was like, I'm just going to talk about chakras. And she went through each of her chakras and had Fiona like feel the different chakras and talk about them. And so we've talked about chakras before. And she spent a lot of time like on her throat chakra, like feeling and like her own truth and like feeling her own voice and like not dimming her light, and also like figuring out who she is because it's such a critical time. And so she was really focused on like the time in her life and like how it's okay to like have a voice. And then she spent a lot of time again in like grounding and also the sacral again, where like you're evolving womanhood and like just like basically like who you are as a person and as you grow. And just like she was very much having Fiona just like be who she is. And she was like a waterfall, things like ebb and flow, because you could hear the waterfall outside. Yeah. She's like, things ebb and flow. And she's like, but just like a waterfall, everything comes back to joy. So she was like, you may rage like a waterfall, you may like slow down like a waterfall, you may be like busy and chaotic like a waterfall sometimes, but like the overall feeling of everyone, of what we are here for is joy. So everything comes back to joy. And so she was talking about like the different like chakras and how it all comes, because like we've talked about like Fiona, how like she get mad, she get this, but like she was really focused on her like knowing that joy is where everything comes back to. It's like the answer, and that's what it all comes back to. I love that she like took time to explain the different chakras to Fiona and spend time on them and really like go deeper into the ones that she thinks would be like touching her sooner. And so, and she let Fiona pick like 3 cards, and then with each of the cards she did a tincture with it. So she had the essence of the plant. She's like, this will help you like have your own voice, like whatever the cards that, it was cool too, because this is what I love about it. So she had the deck of cards, and you know, Fiona put her hand on the deck of cards. She's going to pick 3. She's like, put your hands on the deck. And you can see Fiona's like looking, and she's like, no, she's like, put your hand on the deck, focus, like think about the cards. And you can tell like Fiona does it, and she's like, perfect. She's like, perfect, it worked. Her like way of like affirming, like you can tell, it's like she knows when it's like legit. Like the second like Fiona actually like put focus into it, she could tell. And it wasn't because like she's watching her. Do you know what I'm saying? It's because she feels the energy of her actually doing it. And it like shifted like the cards that Fiona was about to pull. You know, it was like you could tell. And then the cards that she pulled, like I don't remember the 3 like flowers that she picked, but like they're ones I hadn't heard of. And she ended up like, but they were great. And she took the tinctures, and it was like perfect. And like all the stuff she said related so perfectly to like my 12-year-old girl. Do you know what I'm saying? It was just so perfect. And then she had me. She's like, do you want to pick one? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And so she picked, so I picked one myself. The same thing, like focused up, picked one. And I picked the willow tree, which she's like, how fitting. She's like, we're in Willow Hollow, which I didn't know that. And she's like, there's the willow tree right there that watches over the land. And it was a beautiful like heart-shaped willow tree. She's like, you can see it from here, it's heart-shaped. And I was like, oh my God. Also the first like tree that started like talking to her, she's like, oh, like it was so, I'm like, oh my God, wow. Of all the ones I picked. And what she said was like, so like, it was really like cool, but she's like, you like the willow tree will help you like not worry so much. It'll help you. She's like, you can like release bitterness. You know what I say when I get, you know what I say when I'm not connected? Bitter is like my,
that's
bitter
your word.
It's like my go-to like low vibe emotion is bitterness. And she literally called it, she's like, this is like like release the bitterness. She's like, and you have abundance. And like, she's like, you don't need to go there. Like, she's like, you have like, there's so much good. The willow tree is like, again, kind of back to joy, but like the willow tree would help with that like bitterness, which is such a bizarro.
It's a very
exact
specific word that you've used to me recently.
Yeah, it's a specific
wow.
it's and she said that, and she's like, so I was like, she's like, it will release that. So that was amazing, and I was like super into it. And then she was like, okay, now we're gonna have like, and so Fiona was like into it, and she was like sweet and good. And so she's like, now I'm gonna like take her like on a journey. She's like, you can like walk the lands, you can like stay in here, and of course I don't want to stay in here. So I like sat like kind of off to the side. I couldn't really hear like as like well as I like wanted to, because it wasn't huge, but it wasn't small. The area, you know, it could probably like, I mean, it could fit enough people that like she was across it, and I just kind of stayed to myself. And so she like ended up like journeying Fiona, and she did sound healing. She put like crystal bowls on her. She was doing like all sorts of things around her with the sound, and also like talking her through like a full on journey, like walking her places.
So jealous.
It was so cool. And so I could hear like parts of it. And then we discussed it afterwards. When she came out of it, you know, Fiona was like a different like person. First of all, she was so mesmerized out. Like she was so like grounded. And she came out, and we're like, oh, how you doing? She's like, I just feel so grounded. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. And then she's like,
Fiona
no. She's like, I feel so grounded. And like, and I was like, do you have anything you want to share? And she was just, yeah, she's like, it was just like every time I came out of it, which I loved. She's like, every time I came out of it, she's like, when you told me to relax and get back into it, she's like, I was able to. And she's like, and then I was like in it. And all of a sudden Fiona became like the most talkative she was. Like she hadn't been talkative up to that point.
Right.
And she like basically like shared the entire experience with us and her. And like there were some really, really, really freaking cool like findings. So basically what she did, she had her like walk. And while one of the things which she saw, which Amma saw, was that she's like, I saw like your guides are offering you a gift. It's like a blue cloak of protection. And she's like, it is like a deep blue. She's like, it's like velvet. She didn't say it's velvet. I don't know. She's like, it's a deep blue. And I was picturing my head velvet. And like, and she said, she's like, oh, yep, put it on, you know? And like, and she's like, yep. And Fiona, which was so neat, she was like, yeah, I saw the cloak before you said it. And like, and I was like, oh my God. And again, like Fiona's like not talking. She's not, I mean, not barely even talking for her. She's not making this stuff up. You know, like when you have a 12-year-old, she's like, it was so cool. She's like, cause I saw the cloak and then you told me to put it on. And she's like, yeah, she's like, and then it went over me. She's like, she's like, I knew it was like that deep blue, just like you said, to put it on. And she's like, and she was walking and she like saw it. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that's such evidence to me. Cause like Fiona's not making that up as she's saying it. And then Fiona's like, I couldn't see like the inside. And I was like, no, I couldn't either. Like neither of them could see, like they put the overage and neither of them could see what it was like inside. She's like, oh, I couldn't either, which is neat. And so she's like, so she had asked her, she said there was an animal there to like there's an animal here that like wants to like walk with you. And it was funny because originally like, when we first got there, like she had asked her, are any animals that are like special to you? And she said there was like an owl. She's like, owls, like, and we'd say like, Fiona's like spirit animals, an owl. And so when she like was like walking, she's like, oh, she's like, you know, and your animal, I'm like, what was your animal? Because I asked Fiona, I'm like, what was the animal? And she was like, oh, she's like, Fiona's like, oh, it was a hawk. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It was a hawk. And so of course I'm like, did you see that? And she's like, oh, that's funny. She's like, I saw a bird sitting on her shoulder, but I assumed it was her owl. And she's like, I could only see like the outline. And Fiona was like, yeah, it was on my shoulder. And I'm like, I know. And I'm like, I'm like, what did you see? And then I was like, I saw like a white like lion. And she's like, and I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Because when I had heard that part, and I actually had like felt like more of like a mammal. So I was surprised when she said hawk, but she was like, no, I felt like a white like lion with her, which I thought was so cool. Cause I felt that energy when I was like listening to that part of it. Not like I was entrenched in the journey. Yeah. But so that was like super cool. And I just thought that there was like evidence there of different things that like she mentioned and she saw that then like she had also like seen, and like they were going back and forth like sharing. And so I did ask at the end just to double check. I was like, did you see any like spell? Like I'm like, I know we had like talked about this and you didn't see it. And she's like, no. She's like, definitely not. She's like, I did see some past life like I removed. She's like some like so there were some like connections from past lives that are no longer serving her. So she was able to like remove that. And so I was like, oh my God, it was like so cool. And so that was good. And Fiona just afterwards just like felt great and like felt like like really good. And she said to me too, she's like, your energy impacts her. I can feel that. I can actually feel your attachment to her, like impacting her overall being because she is such an empath. And she's like, so if you're worried about her, she's like, instead of worrying about her or being worried like something like gonna happen or bad can happen, she's like, use that energy to like talk to her guides or talk to her higher self. Know that she has the innate knowing inside of her to do what's right and to be protected. So if you need to like worry, instead of worrying, talk to like the innate inner wisdom that she has that is all around her and speak to that about like, okay, inner wisdom, I know she has what's going right. And I know that she's like, I know she's, or talk to her higher self or her like guides and angels because they are all there. And she's like, and you can talk to them instead of like putting your energy to worry, put your energy into like having a conversation with those.
I like that.
So I like that too.
Like
So I'm like, I can use that advice. And I've been, I'm such a warrior, but like I've been using that as like focus.
I like that.
So we ended up wrapping it up there. It was like, awesome. Like she was so, she's so lovely. And just like Fiona left feeling like supported. She had her cloak from her guides as like a.
Did you feel a different version of before and after Fiona?
Yes. Just from the journey itself, like you could see that she was just talking and like the buy-in and just like, when we come out of like an amazing service or an amazing practitioner, you feel like high. Like you're like, you get like high off the universe. Yeah. And I feel like you feel that. You feel the magic of the universe. And you could tell Fiona had that. And she had connecting with her guide. She felt them. She knew she had the protection and she had such this amazing like gift that she had gotten, this protection gift to like protect her, to protect like her own energy, to keep it. And there's just a lot of like, again, there's a lot of like takeaways that made so much sense for her. Right. And so it was like awesome. And I did talk to her and she said, I can totally share this. So I want to make sure. It's like sharing Fiona's story. So it ended up being great. And like I said, she's just so sweet and wonderful. And then the next day we were like basically like happy and just like, it was such a good thing, such a good bonding moment. Totally. And so, like we're still away. And so we wake up the next day at the hotel and we're like, okay, let's do our like freaking outlet shopping, which is what we need to do. And so we're getting ready for the outlets. And we're like, as we slept like 10:30. We're so like exhausted and tired from like everything, it's like such an experience. And so we're getting ready and all of a sudden Fiona's like in the bathroom getting ready. I thought she was doing like one of her little like videos to get ready with me videos. But all of a sudden she's like, Mom, screaming. And I'm like, what? And she's like, Mom, I got my moon cycle.
No.
Yes. No. Yes. She got it the next day. She got it together the next day.
No.
We did it at night. We did it at freaking, we didn't leave. We didn't leave there till 9 o'clock at night. She got it the next morning.
Nope.
Yep.
That's amazing.
That's my woo. She got her freaking period.
Oh,
the day.
Man.
Even she was like, oh my God, you have to use this for your podcast. Because the amount of like insanity, the amount of woo-woo for this, of all places to get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? No. The fact that she kept bringing up the moon cycle, she kept like talking about it and we're like, okay.
And was working in that area.
Like she 100% knew. And even I said, she's like, have you gotten your moon cycle yet? And she's like, no. I'm like, she will soon though. I know it's like, I know tomorrow, but I felt in the next like 6 months. Do you know what I'm saying? She's like 12 and a half, but I'm like, she got it the next frickin' whole day while we were together on a girls' trip for like a spiritual outing. Well, Can you even?
No, I have full goosebumps from this because there's just no coincidence. But what a beautiful initiation.
That's what I said.
What a beautiful female initiation. She was just told how beautiful it was and basically ushered into it. And how about everything to you're waiting 2 months and the divine timing of that evening
is
and like
and the fact that it went to the evening versus like the day, so we were just there together.
It's amazing.
Oh my God. I texted the next day. I was like, oh my God, I just want to tell you, I'm like, the most special thing happened. I'm like, she literally got her moon cycle today. It was fine with it because we were so happy. Yeah. We were like celebratory. We couldn't, it was like such a celebratory like
beautiful.
Thing. And it is. And it like, and she was just like, oh my God, she's like, how blessed I am to have been like part, like to be like involved in this and just like, and that she got it in this like women's like
retreat
area, like this very sacred space for women. Cause that's what it was. It was like women only, like a sacred space that she had created on this land to like celebrate the feminine energy.
Well, that's right. And that's one thing that I feel like I need to layer in a little stronger for your story is that this practitioner focuses on women.
Yeah.
And as you said, you started the story like this is a woman's only space. Like she centers around woman energy, woman psyche, woman everything.
Right. She's like, yeah.
Wow. That's like the most divine timing. And also I feel like we take the passage of that in our lives. Some children are very upset and scared and feel a million things. And I know Fiona enough to know she could have felt any one of them, but because of that, where you were, it became a celebration and the beautiful thing it should be.
Oh my God. I was thinking
it's amazing.
I mean, I remember when I got mine, it was like traumatizing because of where it happened and when it happened and how like it was handled. And instead, I'm like,
she got a life blessing.
It was like a celebration, literally. And like, and she'll pass that down. I feel like the
it's gonna start a new.
Right. It had like changed like the freaking years of like torture that we got from it, from our, like when I got mine. And now it's like a whole different, and can you even freaking believe that she got it the next day?
No, that's beautiful.
So then it continues where we literally like get home, and this is so crazy. So we literally get home, and I have like, there's this like book I love. It's like, it's an oracle book. I got it for you. You don't like it because it's got a red cover, but it's like, I think it's like the 333 Oracle. I highly recommend it. But I went home, and like, it was like, a day or two later, and I was just like, like, I want to keep the woo going. And of course, like, I'm living in it a little bit more than Fiona. She's happy and everything, but like, she's happy that we went to the outlet. So I'm like living in this like amazing, like spiritually charged and connecting experience. And so I'm like, I'm just going to open up my book and like see like what message like the world has for me. I open up the book, and the freaking title is Blue Cloak of Protection.
No.
Oh my Jenny,
goodness, stop it.
It gets freaking better. I go nuts. I go crazy. I run to Fiona. I'm like, oh my God, I pulled this card. I pulled this. I opened the book. It's Blue Cloak of Protection. It's literally like, you have a Blue Cloak of Protection. It's feminine. It's all feminine energy. It's all the same thing. And this book isn't about feminine, but this happens to be a feminine, like
it's not a feminine book.
No, it's not. No. But this happens to be the Blue Cloak of Protection for femininity. Unbelievable. And just like that, you could like, you may be thinking you're going the wrong path. You're always on the right path. It was like a beautiful message. So of course I'm like super high on that. I want to tell you that part too. Fast forward to literally 2 days ago. I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, I need to do it. I'm like ready for another message. I haven't been like super like, that was a super woo experience. Yeah. But other than that, I've just been busy with work. I have, it's like just a busy time of year, and I'm not like so like spiritually connected. So, but I do love this book. So I'm like, I got to get back into it. So I do it again. I close the book, and I'm like, I open it, and it's the freaking Blue Cloak again. I've never gotten this again. So I'm like, this is insane. And so I call Fiona. I'm like, Fiona, because she was home. I'm like, Fiona, I'm like, dude, I did it again. She's like, okay, cool. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, dude, you have to open it. You have to open it. And so she's like, oh, and she wasn't really in the mood. I'm like, just pull up. I'm like, do a page. I'm like, it's for you. And she's like, fine. So she opened it, and she opened it real quick. She's like, no. She's like, I wasn't concentrating. She had opened up to like the bee priestess or something. She's like, I wasn't concentrating. I was like, okay, we'll do it again. And I'm like, there's no wrong way. I'm like, just like put your thoughts into whatever you want to hear. And I'm like, stop. I'm like, it doesn't, like, maybe that was your message. And she's like, no. She's like, it wasn't. Cause she's like, I know it wasn't. I wasn't really trying. And so I was like, all right, it's not trying. I'm like, just whatever you open up to. Closes the book, looks at me, and she's like, again, it's not into it for trying to give it to me. Opens it, Blue Cloak, no lie, no effing lie.
Oh my god.
This book is freaking 500 pages long.
It is so big. It's
you don't open it. You don't open.
Yeah,
like you do not open. And so then I was like, oh my. So of course I'm like, oh my god. It's freaking
was she feeling it?
Yeah,
I know
she was like, oh my god. Even she was like this. So then I was like, Fiona, you couldn't try to open it like that if you wanted to. I'm like, mommy opens a book plays right now. I'm like, even if I try to get there, I open it. I opened a bee priestess. So I opened to the one that she didn't try when I was trying to show her.
Did you read that message?
Yeah, we did. It was like good too. But like, how crazy is that? So I opened to the page that she opened first. How insane is that?
That's amazing.
Isn't that freaking
crazy? So crazy.
Yeah, so she opened it right after me, like this Blue Cloak of Protection. So now I'm like super, of course, into this whole protection thing I get from like her guides. But like thinking about her, like, okay, like I have to trust, and like I have to also like go so she's not being like taken down by my worried energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at how much I impact her. So
wow.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable. The freaking, also love calling it moon cycle. The freaking moon cycle.
Adopting
right?
That. I honestly, it like harkens back to olden days of like when you'd be celebrated for puberty and menopause, and those are the cycles of womanhood that were like celebrated and honored, and there'd be a ceremony.
Right, a ceremony.
So like what made me feel like is you, unbeknownst to you, had a moon cycle introduction ceremony to your daughter.
Right.
On the day.
That's exactly.
That it was starting.
It's exactly.
Like it starts the day before you see it.
God,
so like
so
she
true.
was actually starting it while she was there.
Oh my God.
Like
so
physically
crazy.
there.
And I did think she was spending so much time in that sacral area and like having her hold it. And I was like, again, I thought it made sense because like she is of that age, and she wants her to be aware of like, this is like a sacred center. Yeah. This is like where birth happened. She was like talking a lot about like that. And I was like, hey, I'll trust her. You know, you're getting, that's what you feel like she needs right now. Like, that's great. But then to like, of course that's what she needed. Because you're right. It was like a ceremony. So like, I didn't even know that's what I was like planning, but somehow I literally planned like a freaking celebrational ceremony for her freaking moon cycle.
Her rites of passage. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I think I needed this story too, because I think it's just a good story for anyone of like, you could like think that something's whatever, but your signs were too much in a row to not like, come on, it's not coincidence. There's too many. It's too heavy. It's too deep.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh man.
And then to freaking pick that blue cloak, like both, I mean,
I've never heard that term in my life. I also have that book and I've never seen that page.
I told that to Nick when it happened to me the first time after we had heard that she had this blue cloak connection. Like, I had never even opened that page. Like, are you sure you haven't opened it? I'm like, no, it's a freaking 500-page book. I've never opened to this. I'm like, it was so crazy the first time, then to have it happen. But I'm like, again, it just totally made me like believe, like, of course that was like, and that was one of the things that Amma was like, oh yeah, I saw you before you said, I saw it before you said it. That was one of the things. That was like one of like my like evidence pieces that I was like, this is so cool. Wow. She was in it.
That's wild. That was worth it.
Right? Isn't that good?
And like, but mother knows best. It's like your own guiding intuition, by the way.
Right. It's my innate knowing.
But you started pursuing this in the fall of last year.
I know. I was like, I want to.
And it's the summer.
I know.
So like all the times it could have been. All right. This is one of our short stories long. Amazing. And I love it. And wow, like I need to like end this recording and process. Okay. Like I'm like really like partially quiet because it's like really
it's mind-blowing. I know.
It's a potent one.
I know. Wow. I told you.
I love it. Crazy. I love it. Worth the wait, friend.
Thank you.
Wow. Really special. All right, guys. You know,
Peace
the
out.
universe has a lot of surprises for us. That's amazing. All right. Thank you for sharing. And thank you, Fiona, for letting us share.
Thank you.
Like the show? We'd love your support. Right now, we're doing an awesome giveaway. Leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Screenshot the review and send it to hello@sooguided.com or DM us on Instagram at Soooo Guided Podcast. You'll be entered to win a basket of our favorite WooWoo goodies, crystals, cacao, and all the high vibe goodies we love. Thank you for listening. We've loved being your spiritual travel guides and hope this made you feel more connected. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast player. Your reviews help us create the guide that you are looking for. We'd also love to hear your stories.
You could follow and share your experiences with us on Instagram at Soooo Guided Podcast. Your story might just be our next weekly woo-woo. Join us again next week as we continue to dig deeper into the universe. And remember, stay curious, ask the questions. You are so guided.